We'll start with the prayers. Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are in this beautiful text of Saddarshanam by Ramana Maharishi. We have completed up to 34th verse, and the last 3 verses from say 31 onwards, what did we do? Let's just revise. The 31st verse talked about asserting that I am the Atma, and also asserting I am not the body, mind, or intellect. These are the 2 thought processes which has to go in our nididhyasana. As you know, there are 3 stages of spiritual study. Shravanam is understanding who am I and that I am Atma. Mananam is to clear the doubts that I am not the body and the mind. And then finally what happens is I come to a conclusion, I am a spiritual being which has got no body, no mind. And trying to assert this spiritual being as my real nature is called nididhyasanam. It is a specific mental exercise. It's called as dhyanam. What does this lead to? This leads to the egoless state of being, which is my real nature. Many of us have got intellectual obstacles which manifests as ahamkara and mamakara. These 2 is basically what is called as the I notion and the my notion, which is a thought in the intellect. This is called as intellectual samsara. There is another thing which is called as emotional samsara. Emotional samsara means raga, dvesha. So Jnanam takes care of both the intellectual samsara and the emotional samsara. And Dhyanam is basically to get rid of both these notions in the mind. Once these notions are removed, then I can experience a state of living called as Jivan Mukta, which is nothing else but a pure state of being where the ahamkara, mamakara, raga and dvesha, these 4 obstacles are substantially reduced. They do not affect me anymore. That state is called as Jivan Mukti. Verse number 32 is the climax verse of this 44 verses of Saddarshanam. And here Ramana Maharshi reveals the fact that when this ego I drops, what automatically happens is the Sakshi I rises. Once the Sakshi I rises, there is no more fall for the Sakshi. I am able to claim myself as the pure consciousness, which is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutra. Verse number 33 starts talking about a man of realization, exactly like the Gunatita of the 14th chapter of the Gita, Sthita Prajna Lakshana of the 2nd chapter of the Gita, Jnani Bhakta also from the 9th chapter of the Gita. It is the same what he is going to discuss from 33 onwards till verse 44. So here he says, he compares a jnani who works out of contentment and fulfillment. And the ajnani is the one mentioned in verse 34 who is not able to realize the benefit of the jnanam due to obstacles of ahamkara and mamakara in the mind. This is where we stopped last week. Now let us go to verse number 35. Last week I said that I may be able to finish this Saddarshanam this week in today's session, but let us see how it goes. I may not be able to finish because there are some important verses which are coming, and I may require one more week. It may be next week I will finish Saddarshanam. So 35, verse number 35 says, I know not myself or I know myself. These are the two thoughts in the mind. What Ramana Maharshi says, and these are expressions of a ajnani who thinks that he has seen the self and he has also seen the non-self. That means Atma and Anatma. So when a person is in duality, he will say, I know I am the Atma, and he will also say, I know there is an Anatma. But what Ramana Maharshi says is this duality is not the final realization. Keno Upanishad also says the same thing in different form. So what he says is duality of the seer and the seen is only a stepping stone. It is still in ignorance. And ignorance has no degrees. The objective knowledge of the mind or any other objects can have degrees of understanding and not understanding. What he really means to say is that this seen mind or the I notion is not a second existent thing, but it is Maya or it is Mithya. So what he says is the final step is I alone am is the ultimate understanding. A person who has this understanding of I alone exist is the final understanding of a jnani. And in this understanding, there is no duality of the seer and the seen. The seer and the seen though both merge into one. That one entity is my own real self, in which there is no second thing at all. Kenopanishad says, is a very tricky verse of the Kenopanishad. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya naveda saha. He understands it who comprehends it not. That means what? Through the mind, if you understand and you say that I do understand, then that means you're really not understanding. Then the second statement says, he understands it not, who feels he has comprehended. So one who thinks he has not understood, or one who thinks that he has understood, both are wrong. Because they both belong to ignorance. And they are both vrittis. Understanding, the moment you say, I know Atma, means it is a vritti. Actually speaking, you are not a jnani. Suppose you say, I don't know Atma, that also is wrong. Because again, that clearly conveys that you are ignorant. So what the text or what Ramana Maharishi says is that both these are in duality and both do not know the self in totality. Knowing the known as the known different from the knower is self-realization. The unique knowledge of Vedanta is what? Where the subject and object of knowledge are both one. That means I dissolve the I notion into myself as mithya. It is no longer an existent entity. This is exactly Mandukya Upanishad, where it says Vishwa I, Taijasa I, Pratnya I, Waker I, Dreamer I, Sleeper I. All the three are mithya, false. And what is Satyam? The Turiyam, Atma, which is neither of these three. It stands by itself. All knowledge takes place in the intellect, and it is always with an instrument of knowledge. And what are the instruments? The instruments are the five sense organs. So knowledge and ignorance are both related to the sense organs. And they both are in the sphere where the reflected consciousness is present in the mind. But the original consciousness, the subject, is where it alone is. And where the object and the subject are both identical. The Jiva I and the Brahman I is the same one entity. So in the seat of meditation, ultimately what is the ultimate exercise I have to do? I have to close my eyes and say that this waker I is an appearance I am the reality which is taught to me by the scriptures. This is a lesson, this is a knowledge coming from the scriptures, and I own it as my real nature. What is a universal law? Eyes can't see themselves. The tongue cannot taste itself. The seer is never the seen. A mobile number can never ring its own number. So similarly, I will not be able to see my real Atma as an object. I can only claim it as a knowledge. That is why we say that in Atma Jnanam is not an experience, but it is pure knowledge. Only by listening, you get the knowledge and you claim that you are that. Atma Jnanam is not an experience or an event in time. You cannot say, I realized on Monday morning, 8 o'clock, or I realized it, I will realize in the next time when I complete all my study, then only I will realize it. What you're doing is through the spiritual study, you're removing the obstacles, you're removing the covering of Atma. When you remove the covering, Atma shines instantaneously. It is not a subject for objectification. It is the nature of consciousness itself. So these are the three sentences we must remind ourselves in the seat of meditation. Who objectifies consciousness? It cannot be the body. Body is inert, like a chair, like a table. It is not another consciousness which is seeing or objectifying my consciousness. For example, there is a consciousness, Paramatma, sitting in my body. That Paramatma is seeing me, the Jiva consciousness. Suppose you think this. That is wrong. Why? Because the Shruti Upanishad says consciousness is only one. Ekam eva advitiyam brahma. Chandogya Upanishad. Can we say that one part of consciousness is seeing the other part of consciousness? Not possible. Like, for example, one part of the body, hand, is seen by the eyes. Can I say one part of consciousness is seen by the other part of my own consciousness? No, it's not possible. Again, why? Because the Shruti says consciousness has no parts. So who objectifies consciousness? Consciousness can never be objectified. It can be only claimed. Knowing requires only when there is ignorance of a thing. But none of us are ignorant that we are conscious. It's only claiming that I am conscious and removing all other koshas from it. The pancha koshas, the three sharirams, the three avasthas are the covering. The moment I learn to drop the coverings, this consciousness is revealed by itself. It is self-evident consciousness. Vedanta focuses on removing the attributes which are attached to the anatma, not to the atma. Atma is self-shining. It can never get attached to anything because Shruti says Atma is asangaha, never attached to anything. And therefore, only we say that these are appearances, they are not a factual entity. I am happy, I am angry, I am mortal. All this belong to the five koshas. So what are the three conclusions after our study of Saddarshanam? Number one, all attributes which I attach to myself, like emotions, I am angry, I am happy, these are not the attributes of Atma. That is the first one. The second conclusion is all attributes, they belong to Mithya Deha, Mithya Manaha. Body and mind are appearing, and all the attributes, they belong to only these two, or perhaps Karana Shariram. I have Punya Papam. Punya Papam belong to Karana Shariram. Happy, sad belongs to the Sukshma Shariram. I am old belongs to the Stula Shariram. So the attribute can't affect me, the Atma. We only study attributes and see if they belong to Atma. This is how the study takes place of Saddarshanam and of all the texts in spiritual study. Verse number 36 continues on a man of self-realization. After self-realization, one should not talk loudly and keep checking, is Atma real or unreal, with form or without form? Because a man of realization knows that these are all play of Maya. That is what is said in this verse, number 36. That means I know I am Atma, I am abiding in Atma. If at all there is any notions or disturbances which are troubling me, I should take these disturbances as the play of Maya or Prakriti. So what here Ramana Maharshi indirectly is telling us is, don't get into any arguments with Ajnanis. Ajnanis will say, how can you say that you are the formless consciousness? You are with form. Have you ever seen your formless nature? All this will be the arguments of the ignorant people. They have not gone through the step-by-step process of learning. That is what we call as Shravanam and Mananam. So here Ramana Maharshi is reminding us, after learning Vedanta and after knowing that you are this Atma and knowing or having seen the Sat Darshanam, try to retain this fact in your intellect, in your knowledge, that I am the attribute-less consciousness, and it is always free. It was never bound to the body. Before the body was born, I was Atma. Conscious, I was Atma, the consciousness which exists in this universe, which is always existing, never changing. What has changed is the body. The body has come, the body will go. How? Exactly like the waking state, I see the appearance of the body. Exactly like the sleep state, my body disappears. For me, the consciousness. Mind is the abode of consciousness, and it is a witness of the presence and absence of thoughts. What is the witness? Atma, the consciousness. That is the witness. Am I aware of my thoughts? Yes. Am I aware of my emotions? Yes. Am I not aware of the emotions in my sleep? Yes. So who or what in this body is knowing the emotions, presence and absence? That is called as consciousness. That is my real nature. Very, very beautiful way. If you can understand this subtle aspect, then you have understood the entire text and you can claim your sovereignty, which is immortality, which is the truth. Mind is not blank, but there is consciousness which is aware of blankness. I have repeated this many, many times so that you don't take the blankness as a reality. I experience blankness in sleep. I experience blankness in meditation. Don't take that as a reality. It is an object of awareness. Ignorance is an object of awareness. Knowledge in the waking state of the entire universe is an object of awareness. Shanai Shanai Ruparamet Buddhyadriti Grihiteya Atma Samstam Manakritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. A very beautiful verse of the Bhagavad Gita in the 6th chapter, which is the Dhyana chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, little by little, Shanai Shanai, slowly, gradually, bring back the mind to the self, to the Sakshi. Once having brought the mind to the Sakshi, don't think of anything else. This is the technique of realization taught to Arjuna, and Arjuna represents each one of us. And what is the thought do I entertain? I am formless, pure consciousness, witness of the mind. This should be the final thought in the seat of meditation. Once you have known that in the seat of meditation, you can always keep that knowledge at the back of your mind in all the transactions. Once done, it is possible. You see, many a times when we learn in the Bhagavad Gita, these are all exact knowledge coming from the Gita. Pralapan, Visrajan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. This is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita. That means in the transactional field, you learn to know that you are the Atma, and whatever the transactions you do, they are all in the lower plane of consciousness, which is the Vyavaharika level. So Ramana Maharishi is teaching us nothing else but the same essence of the Upanishads or the same essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The attributes belong to the body and mind, not to me, the Atma. Attributes are mithya or false. They are not the truth. They are not the ultimate truth. Attributes cannot affect me, cannot disturb me, they cannot touch me, because I am of a higher order of reality. I develop Atmanishta with about 3 thoughts. These are 3 thoughts in the mind I deliberately practice in the seat of meditation. I am a conscious being, unlike the body, unlike the table or a chair or a mountain or a stone or a wall. I am a conscious being. I am formless. I am not affected by anything in the creation. I repeat this again and again till it becomes second nature to me. I will never forget this fact which I have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. This is the only thing which the Bhagavad Gita is teaching me, and I will not forget. In all my transactions, I will remember this fact and keep on doing the transactions. Dropping the attributes is the contribution of Vedanta. Maya, the mind, is the promoter of samsara. Maya, the mind. That means the mind's thoughts keep on repeating, they come and go. They are the one which promote samsara, which means the jiva bhava. I need to change the attitude towards myself. The mind keeps on prattling. Prattling means what? It keeps on thinking about some object in creation. And it will keep on worrying. 90% of our samsara is nothing else, but I worry about my daughter, I worry about my son, or I worry about my business, I worry about my future, I worry about so many things. We have 25 different personalities, and each personality will bring a set of worries. Mind is has never learned to be contented, always grumbling about something or the other, either about myself or about others. So this prattling, we must understand, is prakriti. It is maya. It is kshetram, according to the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Ramana Maharshi, going forward, he says that this knowledge of truth, once it is established in our mind, is a tremendous achievement for the human being. Tremendous. It is the ultimate achievement one can ever have, because with this, I can drop rebirth into another body. When you have this attainment of Atma, or the real nature, then all other attainments, like getting a PhD, getting a degree, getting say $100 million, all these accomplishments which you have are like a dream, because you have woken up and you are no longer going to enter the Maya world, because you have known the truth of the universe. You have known the truth of your own mind, which is creating a web of thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. And you have realized how to get away from the thoughts and see yourself as the Sakshi, or the witness of the thoughts. That is the essence of verse number 37. In dream, one can get joy due to projections of the mind. So dream is what? Dream is vasana maya jagat. It is only an impression of the mind which is projected. It is not like the waking state. The waking state is bhautika jagat. Bhautika jagat means made up of 5 elements, whereas the dream is projection of the vasanas, impressions. They are 2 different worlds. That is why they are different realities. The dream is called as pratibhasikam, and the waking is called vyavaharikam. Similarly, from vyavaharikam, we have to jump to another level, which is called as absolute level or paramarthikam, through Atma Jnanam. Once I have woken up to the Atma Jnanam, where it says I alone am as pure consciousness, exactly the way the Lord was before the whole universe was born. I reach the same status of the Lord before the creation came, before this body came. Whatever was my condition is called as Atma. Before the creation came, whatever is the condition is called as Brahman. This status change is what Vedanta brings about. They, they say that Atma is the same as Brahman because it was one consciousness. So waking up to this Atma is important. That is what is the ultimate teaching. But what happens on the way? On the way to gaining this knowledge, what happens is that we get a lot of other side benefits. They are called as yogic powers. Yogic power is called as Siddhi. Siddhi means a power which you can get by chanting a particular mantra or by eating specific herbs which are found in the Himalayas, or through penance, austerities. You stand with one leg for 20 years. You live without food. You live without water for 2 weeks. These are all penances. When you do penances, you get powers in this body. What Ramana Maharshi is saying is, do not get caught up in this samsara of yogic powers. The root cause of sorrow is ignorance of our true nature. And that ignorance gives us a feeling of emptiness in life, helplessness in life, finitude that I am the body, finitude I am the mind. The root cause is Mula Avidya. It is, and one who is established in Atma or Brahman will not come to life of Maya. That is called as moksha. Vedanta is nothing else but it is a thought modification in the mind. Whereas Siddhi represents powers which are developed by chanting some mantras, eating herbs, doing vrathams. There are some people who are interested in getting powers. There are 8 powers which in yoga is called as Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, Praptihi, Ishatvam, Prakamyam, Vashitvam. These are the 8 forces. What does Anima mean? Anima means I do certain mantras which will make me appear small. Anima. It's a yogic power. Huh? These are all powers which are mentioned in the Yoga Sutras, in the yogic scriptures. These are all the powers which come to a yogi. Mahima means what? One appears very large, big sized. Garima means what? You increase the weight, you become fat. Lagima means you become weightless. You can fly in the air. Praptihi means you can reach any place at will. You're in Singapore, you can, if you just think, you will be present in America, or you will be present in Switzerland. Ishatvam means you can order rain to come. lordship over the nature. Prakamya means you can materialize anything. You want to have a gold chain, you just say something and then you can just say this is the gold chain. Vashitvam is control of others' thoughts. You can sit here and say, I'm going to control somebody else's thoughts or natural forces. So these are all forces which can come about in the seat when you are in the progressing in the spiritual path. Do not get carried away by any of these forces. There is no connection between a siddhi and spirituality. If somebody says, oh, you are a jnani, can you materialize this for me? Can you get this done? Can you get that done? You just say that I am not a siddhi. I am a jnani. Siddhis will keep a person in samsara and they are an obstacle to moksha. This is something which you have to keep in mind. It's just an information, that's all. Sahaja Samadhi means that I remember the fact that I am this Atma throughout the day, throughout my life. I don't forget this fact that I am always free from the mind, free from the body. There is no Maya, there is no ignorance for me. I am Atma. This is called as Samadhanam. Samadhanam means tranquility of the mind. We respect Mukta Purushas, their values and their knowledge. And we learn to abide with those values in our own self. Sometimes in our spiritual study, we have a question. How long should I practice? When do you think I will get realization? Should I meditate on Soham? He am I. What Ramana Maharshi says is, once you have got this knowledge and you have learned to abide in this knowledge, then you don't need repetition of this knowledge. For example, if you say, I am a human being, if you know you are a human being, you are a human being. It's a fact, that's all. So you don't need to repeat it again and again. Or, for example, if somebody wants to go to, say, a particular Tirtha Sthanam, suppose you want to go to Kailash. How long he has to walk to reach the destination? When will he reach Kailash? When will he go? And so you keep on thinking of when I'm going to reach, when I'm going to reach. What will happen is while you're on the way, you will not be able to enjoy the beauty. So what Ramana Maharshi is saying is a seeker is nothing else but with reference to Atma Jnanam, it is an attained fact. There is no separation in time or space because Atma is beyond time and space. It's only through understanding I have to realize this Atma. If somebody were to say, how long does it take for a dreamer to meet the waker? And your answer will be, as long as you wish to remain in the dream, you can never meet the waker. And the moment you have woken up, then you have woken up from Maya, the delusions in the mind. So similarly, waking up from dream to waker, similarly from waker to Atma is like waking up to another level of our own consciousness, which is here and now. It's right now with us. And what stops us, or what we need to say, is that supreme consciousness I am now. The thought helps us to clear the wrong notion that I am the mind. The moment you say I am not the mind, immediately then Atma is already there. Sakshi is already there in the same place as the mind. And the mind is just revealed. The mind is drops itself. When mind drops, at the same time Sakshi rises. That is what is the teaching. So once we have established in this Sakshi Bhava, Brahma Bhava, and this is strongly entrenched in our mind, then what happens is the ego I drops, the individuality drops. Vasanas are the means to reach our Atma. Vasanas by themselves are not the end. That is what was said in 34th verse, 36th verse, and 38th verse. So the Mahavakyam, what is the Mahavakyam? Any statement which refers to me as that pure consciousness, one with that pure consciousness, is called as Mahavakyam, like Soham. Soham stands for I am that pure consciousness. I am ever free Brahman. You can call it Brahman, you can call it awareness, you can call it by any name. You can call it by any Chinese name. You can call it, you can convert awareness to, I don't know what you call that in Chinese or Japanese or Portuguese. You can convert it into any language. Until this becomes a fact for me, we need to continue our sadhana. Sadhana means our discipline of learning. We don't rush from the present I to the future I. We don't say, I will realize in year 2025 or 2021. Next year, December, I will be a realized person. No. I am realized today. It is only owning myself. That's all. Be satisfied, contented, and be a jnani now. Complete the study now. Not say that there is a project which I have to complete. The project is only for removing the wrong notions. This beautiful mantra which we chant at the end of our session, Purnamada Purnamidam. Somebody had asked me the meaning of this also. One main meaning which is there hidden in this is that I am Purnam. Purnam means I am complete. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. I am complete always. I am Purnam. Purnam means I am fulfilled person. I have no worry. This is the final ultimate realization of a jnani. This Purnamada mantra is the realization mantra. In the seat of meditation, when you have learned and you have understood Atma, you can chant this mantra without any doubt. Then you can say you are a realized person. You understand the meaning behind this Purnatvam. I am that pure self, which is happiness or bliss. From that happiness only, this whole world has come. This whole world which I see before me will dissolve into that same Purna Atma when I go to sleep. And when I wake up from the Purna Atma, this world comes back. The world is Maya. It is a projection of that Brahman or Atma. It is an appearance. I am that pure consciousness, awareness, Purnaha. What remains, avasishyate. When this world comes and goes, I remain Purnaha always. Because Purnaha, is infinite. It is not touched by time. Time itself comes and goes in Purna Atma. If this understanding is there, you are a jnani. As long as Dehatma Bhava is there, Buddhi Atma Bhava is there, ego will continue. The I notion will continue. You drop the ego at any time, you are instantly on the lap of Atma. Ego connects everything to a project. Ego connects and becomes a tendency to postpone even moksha. That is a symptom of samsara. We claim here and now, I am that ego-less Atma. Let many non-binding desires be there after you have realized that you are pure consciousness. You can read, you can write, you can do what you want, you can read other books, you can know about other philosophies, absolutely no problem. But first, claim that you are the pure awareness. With that, you can play around in the world. You go and do whatever you want. Let the body act, produce whatever it can. You want to earn money, you want to help others, anything can be done. Let the body go through whatever it has to go through. But the fact that I am that pure awareness is never lost. How long it takes? Okay, this we have seen. Verse number 39 is a 10th man story. What I will do is I will stop here. 6:30, 7:30, 7:45. No, I can continue. I can continue. It's what I will continue further. Maybe we can stop 7:45. We will stop. Verse number 39 is the 10th man story. And here, many of you, I've told this story many times before in different texts. And this is just a reminder what happens to the 10th man and how he suffers from samsara, not knowing his own nature. The 10th manness, the 10thness in one, when it is lost and it is found later, it is only due to ignorance. That is what is the essence of this mantra. So similarly, I don't know that I am Atma. When I know I am Atma, it is ignorance only which goes away. Because the 10th man or the Atma which you are searching for is your own self. So when this is what is happening, a question we will raise is, what is the nature of that reality or the self? Is it duality? Is it non-duality? Or is it a mixture of duality and non-duality? That means a truth, Atma or Brahman, pure consciousness. Is it Dvaitam? Dvaitam means I, the consciousness, and the world. They are two separate things. Both of them are real. That is called as Dvaitam. Non-duality means only one thing exists, which is what Vedanta claims, Advaitam. There is only pure consciousness. The second thing which we see is appearance, like the rope snake on rope. Rope snake is the entire universe, the waker eye, the dreamer eye, the sleeper eye. And what is the rope? Rope is the Adhishtanam. Atma, the Turiyam I, is the Adhishtanam. Then there is the third philosophy, which is called as Dvaitam Advaitam, which is mixture of both. But what Shankaracharya or Ramana Maharishi says is, this is not true. It cannot be a mixture because they are opposite in nature. You cannot have darkness and light together. So what Ramana Maharishi is saying is, during inquiry, there is duality. But once you get the knowledge, the duality is dropped. That Atma is found as like a 10th man realizes, I am the 10th man. What is the story of the 10th man? I'll just explain to you. There's a 10th man story which will come here. So here Dvaitam means individual and the supreme are never the same. These are the three philosophies of which existed during Ramana Maharishi's time. It existed even during Shankaracharya's time. These are analyzed in detail in Brahma Sutra. And then that is where in Shankaracharya, after doing a lot of reasoning, he comes to the conclusion that there is only one pure awareness consciousness principle, which is the central theme of all the Upanishads. Very beautifully in Brahma Sutra, all the Upanishadic mantras are brought together to arrive at this Advaitam conclusion. Only when you do the Brahma Sutras, you will learn how the entire Upanishads, all the Upanishads, there are 108 Upanishads, there are 1180 Upanishads. Shankaracharya says all of them, they are talking of only one pure awareness called as Brahman or called as Atma. There is no duality, only Advaitam. Duality is an appearance, it is unreal. Dvaita Advaita mixture is always in a state of ignorance. And why is this? Why does this happen? Because why do we say that this mixture cannot be the ultimate truth? Because on realization that I am Atma, duality ends. This is what Shankaracharya says. When I go through the scriptures, this particular verse is a verse which talks about different views of Atma. And what they say is that thinking that there is something else along with this Atma is incorrect. It is fallacious. Just to give you a brief of what the 10th man story is, there were 10 ignorant people. Ignorant, they were foolish people. Basically, they wanted to cross they were not people with they were immature people. They wanted to cross a river and then go to the other side to the ashram. So what they did was they counted themselves before crossing the river. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After crossing the river, then one person said, I am the leader. I'm going to count whether all 10 are there. So he started counting all the 9 and then stopped there. Immediately he said, oh, there is one person who's missing. And then they were worried and they were anxious. They said, oh, this 10th man is drowned in the river. And they started searching and they started crying. And then a passerby or a guru came and he said, what is the problem? They said, there's a man who is lost. And then the guru looked at them and he said, okay. He understood the problem. He said, okay, let me count. And then he started counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And he said, You are the 10th man. So the 10th man realized that I was thinking that I am lost. And he realizes, oh, I was the one. Then so what happens to the 10th man? 10th man, was he really lost? No. Similarly, Atma is in our own self. We are looking for this Atma everywhere in the world, but not inside our own self. So when this truth is told by the scriptures that the seeker himself is the sought, then the seeker learns that I am that Atma. He drops that I notion, which is what Ramana Maharishi is saying. I notion is an appearance, it is false. It is like the rope snake. It is like the 10th man who didn't know. Therefore, Advaitam in sleep or death or pralayam is a temporary Advaitam. It is not moksha. It is unmanifest Advaitam. But what Advaitam you get from knowledge, Aham Brahma Asmi, that one is the real truth. It is a fact. It is beyond time. That means what? Today, when I say to myself, I am that pure awareness consciousness and I am able to accept it as a fact. This is called as realization. And why do I accept this? Because it is coming from a valid source. Like the eyes are saying that there is no fire outside. For that, only the eyes are the source. Similarly, for the consciousness, the only source is Veda. The Veda says that I am that pure self in which the world is coming and going. Mayeva sakalam jatam, may sarvam pratishtitam, may sarvam layam yati. Kaivalya Upanishad. So if I remember that I am that pure, then that is called as jnanam. This jnanam is a fact. It remains the same in all the conditions of the body or the mind. Today morning, I was very sad. Today, I have my birthday. It does not change the status of Atma because it's knowledge. Knowledge cannot get displaced by experience. The sun never rises is a fact, it's a knowledge. But I experience the sunrise and sunset. Experience can come and go, but the fact always remains. Which is what? The sun never rises. Experience is always a mental event. Very important fact in Vedanta. Whenever we say Anubhava, I experience something. It can be experienced through the sense organs. It can be an inference, but ultimately it is a mental event. It's a thought. It's a thought which the Sakshi is seeing. And this thought can be displaced by other experiences. One thought can be replaced by another thought. A sad thought is replaced by a happy thought. A happy thought can be replaced by a sad thought. So there is always a fluctuation in my experiences, but the experiencer consciousness is always the same. The Kshetraknyaha, the seer, pure consciousness doesn't change. That is the fact. That's what is being brought out in this verse. Jnani continues to experience waking, dream, and sleep. Waking is Dvaitam. Dvaitam means what? I am a separate entity, individual. You are a separate entity. We are all separate entity. This is called as Dvaitam. Dvaitam means appearance. I am there. I can see the world outside. It is a It is a what Vedanta says is this eyes can see this only because they are designed to see Dvaitam. It is an error. Dream is also Dvaitam. It is an error. Sleep, in sleep, we don't see Dvaitam, but it is Advaitam. Advaita means what? I alone am pure. I exist by myself. There is no world, there is no body, there is no mind. This is what the Vedas are teaching us. That is the truth principle. What I experience is an error. Experience does not disturb the knowledge of Advaitam. This Advaitam or Saddarshanam is nothing else but knowledge. And this knowledge cannot be disturbed by an opposite experience of Dvaita. Aham Brahma Asmi is a fact. It is not subject to displacement. It is not an event. It is not time bound. You cannot say I was free in the morning. I'm bound in the evening. I feel you are always free is the fact. That is what the scriptures are telling us. At the time of sadhana, that means when I'm doing meditation or when I'm learning, it is process of Dvaitam. In Dvaitam, we study. But the knowledge is what? The knowledge is I am always one. The whole universe is always existing in one principle. This is the knowledge. Therefore, when I claim this knowledge, I am free now. I can claim that I am that peace, I am that security which provided by this pure consciousness. I don't need to seek for peace or security from the world. This knowledge, this is not an objective knowledge. Brahman or pure consciousness, I will see one day. No, it is not objective. It is subjective knowledge. I am always this pure awareness, and this experience cannot displace this knowledge. You cannot say I was very sad, my body was suffering, therefore Atma, I am not this Atma. You can never say, because Atma is pure. It's always unaffected by any other experience which we may have. I am Brahman in spite of my ill health, in spite of my physical, emotional, intellectual conditions. The very important fact in Vedanta. See, all this which we are learning about our true nature. And these are all new things we are learning about who am I. So it does take time. Suppose you say at the end of this Saddarshanam, oh, I have got some vague idea about this Atma, but I am not able to claim. It is not at all a problem, because all of us are in the same boat. We have to gradually learn this process of Advaitam and claiming this as a fact. It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come after listening to once, but it comes by repeated listening to the same fact again and again. In Bhagavad Gita, we learn the same fact. In Dakshinamurti Stotram, we learn the same fact. Mandukya Upanishad, we learn the same fact. The more we get to learn this again and again, it helps us to claim and realize this as a truth in ourselves. Verse number 40. When a man thinks I do work, he becomes bound to enjoy the fruits of action. because he is a doer. If the doership is washed away by inquiry, then the three types of actions, that means the past, present, and future actions, they will be perished only by inquiry. That alone is liberation. Here, Ramana Maharshi is trying to give us the nature of liberation. We'll do this last verse before we close today. What happens when we claim this Atma? That is what is being explained here. Can I do whatever I want as per the, then I'll be a slave of the mind. That is called as licentiousness. What happens when we claim Atma is we claim our freedom from the sense of doership. There is a sense, that means there is an I notion which we keep on thinking that is the body. This I which keeps on coming in us is the problem, is the obstacle. What Ramana Maharishi says is we get in life what we deserve, but not what we desire. Because what we get in life is as per our vasanas, and what comes out of our vasanas is as per the law of nature, law of karma, and the results of karma. When we become a bhokta, bhokta means an enjoyer, vasanas are formed in the mind. There are inherent tendencies which induce fresh desires in us. That means I have certain impressions, I do certain actions, and again it induces me to further action. Suppose I want to earn 100,000 pounds. I get 100,000, I'm not happy. Again, I want 200,000 pounds, I want 2 million pounds, I want 200 million pounds. So this is a chain of doership and enjoyership. This chain of doership and enjoyership is called as bondage. But what is the fact? It is this mind in the presence of Sakshi or the consciousness which is acting. This is what we have to realize. Body is inert. By itself, it has no doership or enjoyership. The self does not have a mind. It can never say, I am doing. It has no notions of doership or enjoyership. But what happens? In between, there is an ego which rises. This is what we saw in the previous verse. Where does the ego rise? This was the question which Ramana Maharishi asked us to inquire. If you remember that verse where it says, where is this ego rising? This ego is rising because it is a wrong notion in the mind. And it is born in waking and dream. It is resolved in sleep. This is what we learned in verse number 27. And this ego is a combination of the body plus the consciousness, the reflected consciousness. That's what we call as reflected consciousness. And this is also called as Maya, which is the doer and enjoyer in this body. So I learned by this process of Saddarshanam, the teaching of Saddarshanam, how to eliminate this ego. And this ego has been rotating as the wheel of action in my body throughout so many births. And what are the three types of actions and the results? Sanchita, Prarabdha, Agami. What is Sanchita? It is the total karma phalams in many lifetimes which I have to enjoy. It is there in my account. What is Agami? Agami is the actions which I'm doing now, like listening to Vedanta is an action. It gives punyam. And the impact or the result of this punyam will come. It may come this birth, it may come next birth. If it comes in the next birth, it is called as agami. If it comes in this birth, it is called as prarabdha. All the experiences which I undergo in this birth is called as prarabdha karma. It is matured results of certain actions done in the past or certain actions which are done in this birth. And that is what I call it as destiny. All actions depend on the doer, which is the ego I. The one who is free from the notion of doership, he remains unaffected by the three types of karma phalams. Krishna taught this in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He says, you are never a doer of action. If you remember the Bhagavad Gita, so many verses, Krishna again and again, he says to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you are not the doer of action. It's an ego I, which will do actions, but don't take this ego I as your real self. If you remember the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 12th verse onwards to the 25th verse, 13, 14 verses, very clear. I am the pure awareness. The same Saddarshanam is explained there. With reference to the jiva can have two I notions. One is I am the Atma or I am the Ahamkara ego. If you claim you're the Atma, you're free. You can transact. At the same time, you can say, I am not the doer. This is called as Jnana Karma Sannyasa, chapter 4 of the Gita. Ahamkara, when you do, you can claim that, and then you remain as, what happens is you say that I am not the Ahamkara, which is the body and mind. The doership is attributed to this unreal Ahamkara. All transactions are made by the mixture of Atma and Ahamkara, which is the ego. And who says this Aham Brahmasmi? That's the next question. I myself say, I the Atma, the pure consciousness. In ignorance, I say I am the ego I. But with knowledge, I, the ego I, itself says I am the pure consciousness. I don't know my higher nature, therefore I take myself as the Ahamkara. When the reality is not known, the unreal ego I becomes real. When Waker is not known, the dream becomes real. When Atma is not known, the waking Ahamkara, the ego I, becomes real. During ignorance, Ahamkara and the doership both become real. Then actions become real, then samsara becomes real. So the starting point for all this is, analysis is the ego I, the Ahamkara. You claim to say that the ego is not real, then you can say the world is not real. But if you say the ego is real, you will say the world is real. As long as you say the Ahamkara is real, there is no moksha. And the moment I say that Ahamkara is false, then I can claim that Atma is real. Okay, I will stop here with this slide because this is a slightly longer. We will continue this next week. Next week, we will try and finish up this text. And I have 4 or 5 verses up to 44. I am the 40th verse. And okay. okay, let me just finish this this particular verse. I'll take another 5 minutes. It's okay. So that we know that we have come, it's something which I don't want to stop in between, because we have gone through this whole cycle of ahamkara discussion. The only solution is ahamkara, the ego waker, must be made unreal. That means it should be treated as an appearance. Like what? Like the dreamer. Dreamer should be made unreal. When does he become unreal? When he wakes up. Similarly, when I wake up to this Atma I can say that the waker experiences and the waker I is unreal. The dream can be converted to unreality when you wake up to the wakerhood. Similarly, waker can be converted to unreality when you wake up to the Atma. What is this Atma Jnanam? The Atma Jnanam is that there is a higher state, which is called as the Atma, or the pure consciousness state, or called as Turiyam. It is also called as Kshetrajna in the chapter 13th of the Gita. They are different names. It's called as Purusha, also in the 13th chapter of the Gita. It is called as Brahman. It is called as pure consciousness. And that is what I have to claim as my real nature. From that level of Atma alone, I can say that this Ahamkara is unreal. So the freedom or moksha is nothing else, but it is a falsification of this ego I called as Ahamkara. It is not an event. It is not a time bound. It is not in time. This knowledge is a fact to be known. It exists all the time. Therefore, it is called as jnanam. It is not experience. And what is the simple definition of ego I or ahamkara? It is the body-mind complex plus the reflected consciousness, which is what we are in our entire waking state, entire dream state, entire sleep state. And who am I? I am the one beyond that. That is what is known as Turiya. That is what is known as Brahman. One is compelled to be forced to experience the karma phalam as long as one is a karta, doer of all actions. What do we do in Vedanta? The ahamkara is falsified by inquiry and knowledge. There is change towards this attitude of the body and the mind because of the new understanding of Atma. The doership gets falsified. And the karma phalams, that means all what I enjoy in my life, whether it is happiness, whether it is fulfillment in small happy experiences in life, they are all karma phalams. This prarabdha will continue to be experienced even after I get this jnanam. But the only difference is I don't consider the prarabdha phalam as satyam, but it is taken as mithya. All the body's experiences which I have is not counted as a second. It is taken as existing and resolving in pure awareness. From the body standpoint, prarabdha is real. If you don't know Atma, no way you will say I am free. From the Atma standpoint, you will say prarabdha is only an appearance. You will never claim prarabdha to be real. Advaitam is the truth, and that is the Satya. So these are the two standpoints we should always remember. After having done the Saddarshanam, if we have caught up the idea of how to drop this ego I as a false entity appearing in the waker I, as a waker I, as a dreamer I, as a sleeper eye, then I have got this beautiful vision of Saddarshanam. Verse number 39 teaches us how to falsify the Dvaitam, and verse number 40 teaches us the falsification of the karma itself. Karma means karma phalam. What is Ramana Maharishi's style of inquiry? We will see next week. We have another 4 verses to go. And then after this 4 verses, which we'll finish in the, it'll take about 45 minutes for me. At the end of that, I want to quickly revise Upadesha Sara by Ramana Maharishi. There are 30 verses. I have prepared a small summary in Excel format. Because it is written by Ramana Maharishi, I will just quickly run through this, not in detail, but a quick revision. I had covered this text before, but because it is Ramana Maharishi's text, which also has a similar idea, I thought it may be a good idea to revise this text. We'll try to quickly wrap it up in the same session as next week. And then on the 13th, so next week is the 6th of January. Perhaps on the 13th of January, we'll try and start the Dakshinamurti Stotram. Okay, so we'll close for today. It's been a long day, a long session. Usually I stop at 7:45, but today I thought let me finish up to 40. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So in case you have any questions on this particular text, you can send me your questions by WhatsApp. If you have questions, you can send me by WhatsApp. I will reply to those questions next week at the end of the class. So that is on this particular text of Saddarshanam. If you have any doubts, any questions, you are free. You can either ask next week in the chat session, or you can send me send it to me by email, or by you can send it to vedantastudents.com, by which you get all the videos by email. You can send by WhatsApp also. And this is a beautiful text. It is giving us the clear vision of the reality, the pure consciousness, the awareness principle. Okay, let me just run through the chat board. Bina is okay. There's nothing. There's no question there. Shanmugam, can you open up for everybody in case anybody has a question? Yes, I know you're lifting your hand, Shama. Please go ahead. Can you unmute everybody, Shanmugam?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Shama.
Namaste. Namaste. Yeah. So really this whole thing of Saddarshanam, and you started about abidance in truth, isn't it?
Yes.
So today morning, that's really what I was thinking about, abidance in truth. So after doing so far, it looks like as if there are 3 separate steps. Please correct me. The first step is what you have described in verse 39 and 40, that you have to, through the Shravanam, through the Mananam, there is a falsification of the Dvaitam. Yes?
Yes.
I am not that and I am this. Yeah?
Yes.
And then very importantly, the falsification of the karma, the doership.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Then in the second step perhaps is you actually then have established the jnanam. So all that you have done is you have actually obtained the jnanam, the clarity on the whole subject. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Which is intellectually you have
Picked up.
understood that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Then as you contemplate on the step two, continue on and on, you then simply you just know that I am, and full stop. And
yes,
you kind of then stay there in that abidance. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So that's just for the understanding. The question here is, you have said experience versus the Advaita, or pure awareness.
Yeah,
If
knowledge.
if I remember correctly, we have been told in the past that uh, the way to jnanam is through the shruti, yukti, and anubhava.
Correct.
Yeah. So e- even before you can actually feel that established state, how do you actually experience this jnanam, which we will have learned and we have obtained? Do we not actually experience this Advaita? So this is really my question, because I got the feeling that once you have reached the Advaita state, you then don't experience that state. Do you actually experience that state, or it's no state?
Very good question. It's a question by almost every seeker has this question in mind. Uh, one must understand that experience involves the mind all the time.
Yes.
Whenever you say experience,
Mm-hmm.
experience means mind is involved. Mind means thoughts are involved. Thoughts means perception is there. The sense organs are involved. The
Okay.
subject I, the object I, Triputi is involved.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What they say is Atma is not an experience, it is a jnana.
It just is.
It is just is. That's all.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
is no, because in the sleep state, there is, it is, that is why they say that this is beyond the time principle.
Okay. Yeah.
So whatever is, there is only one thing which is beyond the time, and that is Atma.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything else which we experience is in time and space only.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment, and what happens in sleep is, it is also an experience of the objectless awareness. So there are only two conditions. One is objectful awareness in waking and dream, objectless awareness in sleep. But what is beyond this awareness, that is what is called as pure knowledge.
Excellent.
So never look for experience, because experience means duality.
Correct.
This
Okay.
is
Got
what
it.
Shankaracharya's beautiful definition of Atma is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can corroborate this, and you can verify this definition in all the definitions of Atma in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Upanishads. You see this non-dual self as a jnanam, not as
Mm-hmm.
an experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you, do you experience anything in sleep? You will say no. But what Vedanta says is, you are experiencing ignorance in
Mm-hmm.
sleep. So even that experience of ignorance is not taken as Atma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to drop that notion that I am the sleeper I.
Yeah.
Okay? So your question is it an experience? No. Atma is only a jnanam. It is only
Ah,
knowledge.
okay. And then the very troubling question, and that is really about the doership. So who is the doer?
The doer is a combination of the two factors. It is an unholy combination, which Chinmayananda says very beautifully. He says, it is, nobody knows how this happens. It just happens because the Lord wants us to go through the prarabdha karma through the mixture of Atma and Anatma. The doer.
Because even the Lord himself is not
Yes,
doer.
that's correct. You see, this is a combination. That is why in Vedanta, we say the entire field of experiences is a phenomena. We say the entire world is a phenomena in nature. You are asking who is the doer? Who is experiencing the world?
Mm-hmm.
So what Vedanta says, it is the person who thinks he is an enjoyer, he is the one who is enjoying. But the person who knows he is Atma, he is no longer enjoying. He is not a doer, he is not an enjoyer. The same ego, the jiva I, is the one who is the actual. Your question is, who is the enjoyer? My answer will be the jiva is the enjoyer, jiva is the doer in ignorance.
I'm just asking, for example, an enlightened person,
Yes.
is a realized soul. If he is eating his favorite sweets from the past before he was enlightened,
Yes.
will he still enjoy that sweet or not?
Yes. After the knowledge of Atma, he will say this eating is false.
But will he actually enjoy it or not?
He will enjoy it, no doubt. He will say, because it's the body which is enjoying. You are seeing the body which is enjoying.
So his body will be enjoying
You're
it.
not seeing his knowledge. You're not seeing the notion in his mind.
Yeah.
So his notion is what? The body is there. I am seeing the body. Body is seen. And Veda says whatever is seen is not real. So in his mind, he thinks that it's the body which is enjoying. At the same time, he also knows this is a lower order of reality.
Thank you.
Okay, so this question is a question which is coming from our own mind, because we are thinking that the jnani should not be able to enjoy.
It looks like,
we think that the jnani should not enjoy good food, he should not enjoy a good scenery, he should always be staring at one place and always thinking of Atma and never smiling. He should be like a rock. These are all our expectations of a jnani. But from a jnani standpoint, what he thinks is, while experiencing the life situations and conditions of the body, he says,
I like that.
He says that I am not the enjoyer, I am not the doer, I am the witness or the illuminating principle, which is witnessing or which is illuminating this body and the entire field of Kshetra.
Just a shift in attitude, actually. Shift in
attitude. I'm no longer the dreamer. The dreamer comes to know while in dream that he is not a dreamer, but he is the waker. The waker comes to know he is not the waker, but he is Atma. Because, and why do you believe this? Because the Shruti is telling me that this is what I am. There is no other proof. For a jnani, there is no other proof. It's not like Shama has phoned up from London and she says that, oh, you're not, you're not. No, it is not. It is. I don't depend on somebody's phone call to say I am jnani.
So that is why I love that Mundaka Upanishad has the third, the two birds.
Yes, correct.
I absolutely really relate to it, because that's perfect analogy.
Very good analogy. The bird in the upper branch is a witness.
Yeah.
The lower branch bird is always eating the fruits.
So that is really the reality.
And this lower bird realizes that I am the same as the upper bird. I am the witness consciousness. I drop this identity of eating the fruits. I will still continue to eat the fruits because that is for the prarabdha karma.
Correct. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Balashankar is asking.
Sir, I'll explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Sir, normally
Yes,
realized soul
yes,
is normally a jnani.
correct.
But the jnani is also in human society.
Correct.
He is also acted upon by three gunas which is existing for all the people.
He means you are talking about the body, not the jnani. Jnani is,
Okay, but jnani, when he sleeps,
yes.
tamasa guna is mainly prevails.
Okay. So
He
okay.
should not be affected by the tamasa guna. How he can protect himself from the tamasa guna? Secondly, my question is, a jnani
Can I
is
answer?
supposed to be free from three gunas. How he will take care of it?
Yeah, yeah. Let me. These are the two questions, right? Yeah, Bala, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You see, the first question is, will a jnani be affected by the three gunas? Okay. Now, this is a complete analysis of chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita. Your question is a question coming directly from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14. So I will be taking this answer in detail when I do the Bhagavad Gita. You are one of the you are participating in the Saturday class.
Yes, yes.
So you will get a full answer in chapter 14 of the Gita. And if you are really in hurry, you can see the notes of chapter 14.
I want to hear from you only.
Okay. So what I'm telling, I will tell you in brief answer what is explained in the chapter 14. You see, in chapter 14, it says that there is a jnani who is a guna tita. Guna tita means what? A person knows that the gunas can affect only the body. It cannot
Okay.
affect the pure consciousness at all.
Not Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira will not be affected by gunas.
No, Sukshma Sharira will also be affected. The Sthula Sharira will also be affected, but not Atma.
Okay.
Atma, the pure consciousness, is unaffected by the three gunas, even when the body is acting, even when the body is undergoing pains, even when the mind is going through its prarabdha karma of joy and sorrow. Atma is always muktaha, always free. It is nitya muktaha. Nitya muktaha means the Atma is never affected by the activities of the body or the mind.
It is always free.
Always free. That is why you say it is nitya mukta.
Right.
It is not mukta now because I have learnt the knowledge. It has always been mukta. It has always been free. And your question is, will a jnani experience dukham, sukham? Will he sleep or will he be awake all night? No, jnani's body will be sleeping. Jnani's body will undergo the same pain as you and me will undergo in the biological pain. Suppose there is an operation in a jnani's body, he will also feel the pain. You know, suppose a jnani faces a situation outside his house, somebody is in problems. He goes, a seeker goes and cries in front of a jnani. The jnani's emotions will definitely come. He will feel empathy for the person. So but the only difference is he will know that my body and mind are experiencing these emotions. He will always have this knowledge. I am not affected by these actions which are going on at the body level, at the mind level, at the world level.
His Atma is only witnessing it, that's all.
Yes, that's correct. You have got the point. You have absolutely got the point. And you know, in advanced texts like Vichara Sagara, which I'm learning now, it says very clearly that this notion, I am Atma, will not just come automatically.
True.
It will not come automatically. And this notion that I am the body, I am the mind, it will not go easily. There is a very detailed explanation of this obstacle which we all will have. Suppose you have learned today, I have known that I am the Atma, I am the pure consciousness. I am not affected by the conditions or the gunas which will affect the body and mind. Now, what that Vichara Sagara text is teaching is, it says that you need to keep reminding yourself, maybe initially in the seat of meditation, and tell yourself, I am that pure Nitya Mukta Atma. I am that pure, if you say I am the Mukta Atma, ever pure, which is always in peace, which is always happy, this has to be claimed in the seat of meditation, and this has to become your second nature. Till this notion that I am the Atma becomes strong and strong and stronger in you, this body and the mind will keep troubling you.
Okay, you have to remind yourself.
Yes, that remembrance is very, very, very important after
To be frank, in the Sandhya Vandanas, which normally people do 3 times,
yes,
mantra is Asavadityo Brahma Brahmaivaha Ahamasmi Brahmaiva Satyam.
exactly.
Told 3 times.
Satyam Jagan Mithya, it comes in Sandhya Vandanam. This has been taught to us by the forefathers to repeat every day, 3 times a day.
3 times, yeah.
If I can remember that and continue my journey, that is called as Jivan. That is called as being a jnani. That's all. It's very simple. But the only thing is, we have not learned properly what this Atma is and how my intellect can understand me as Atma. That is the process of Shravanam. That is the process of learning the Bhagavad Gita, learning the Upanishads, learning Saddarshanam.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
Very good, Bala. You are been able to apply the knowledge now. I'm very happy to see that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Anybody else?
You're not in India, are you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm in Singapore.
Only because, I heard the koel, like what you hear in India. So this is really like the sun sets or sun rises or sun is there. So I was thinking, where are you? Because I could hear in the recording the sound, bird sounds same as the koel bird in India, which you hear.
It comes in Singapore also.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it comes in Singapore.
And it's the same species,
yes,
same.
It's the same. I hear it every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And it was really haunting because I was thinking, God, where is he? For a minute, yeah.
The same bird is in Singapore. It migrates to Singapore during winter months.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. I was thinking there must be another species there.
No.
That's interesting.
It's
fascinating.
All of us in Singapore are enjoying that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anybody else has any question?
Secondly,
Bolo Bawai.
As you were saying that through Vasana we can reach the goal, is it?
No. Through Vasanas, we experience joy and sorrow. But through knowledge, I can reach the goal of art. Vasana is only an impression in the mind. It will keep on telling me I should get up today, I should do this work, I should do that work, and that's all. These are all the Vasanas. Tomorrow morning, what I will do is as per my Vasana in the mind. Whether I will eat this for lunch, whether I'll go to this market. These are all impressions in the mind. So during our life, we are just going through our impressions. That is our whole waking life.
Mm.
And through
But
knowledge, what you have learned today in the Saddarshanam, that is the real knowledge. That is what will take you to the ultimate goal of life, which is Atma.
one more question. This Secretary, Lord Krishna says in the Gita that I'm the doer, you are the, what they call it,
You are the instrument.
instrument. Yeah.
Yes. Nimitta
So,
mataram bhava.
so I don't understand sometimes, as you say, just now, Shama was saying that God is not the doer.
Yes, yes. You see, these are
It's a
all
wrong
different
position.
points of view.
Huh?
I create problems.
Yeah. These are all different points of view. Whenever the Lord says that you are the doer, I am the doer, you are not the doer. See, what it means is the point of reference keeps on changing.
Yeah.
See, the Lord sometimes says, I am pure consciousness, I am the Kshetrajna. That means he is referring himself as the pure consciousness. Then he says, I am appearing as this earth, I am appearing as the moon, I am appearing as the sun. Then he is taking himself as the reflected consciousness with the body, like the Jiva. Like Jiva, there is an Ishvara. So what you see, the whole universe is nothing else but Ishvara. Then when he says that I am the real doer, you are not the real doer, you are a nimitta matram, what he says is you are just an instrument. You are an instrument means your body is an instrument for certain actions, but I am the real doer in your body because without me, your body cannot function. I am the reflected consciousness in your body, and that reflected consciousness is the power. That power is belongs to Ishvara, and you are just an instrument. Body is an instrument. So the body works as per the power of Ishvara. He says that you are not the doer, I am the real doer. So that is how you have to understand different verses of the Bhagavad Gita, and you have to understand where and what is being referred as I, the Jiva, whether Jiva is taken as the body, mind, or the soul, or the pure consciousness. Similarly, Ishvara is taken as the whole world, or is he taken as the reflected consciousness in the world, as the intelligent cause behind the universe, or the material cause of the universe? You should see it from different views. So the Lord expresses himself in different ways in the Bhagavad Gita. That is what is the simple answer.
But if we, let's say, if he is a doer, then how he commits crime? That means.
No. You see, here a person commits crime. The Lord doesn't commit crime. You see, Lord is. You see, but Lord is like the petrol in the car. The petrol, does it go and hit the tree, or the driver who hits the tree? It is the
Neither
driver.
car nor the petrol.
The petrol cannot go and hit. The petrol is only used to drive the vehicle. That's all. But in the vehicle there is a driver. The driver is the Jiva. Jiva wants to go and hit a petrol. He wants to go and kill somebody. He wants to go and throw a bomb. He wants to do so many different activities. That belongs to the Jiva, who is the body with a mind. He is doing the karma, but here you should be very careful. You should always know what is the doer, who is the doer. That is why we are analyzing the doer principle very clearly in the entire Gita. Even in this Saddarshanam, we are studying that the doer is only the Jiva with the reflected consciousness. That means it is that I notion which is doing everything. Okay, Lakshmi is asking this question. Most of Jnanis are bhaktas, correct? After realization, why is it different Saguna Akaras are still being worshipped by Jnanis and not Nirguna Brahman? See, this is explained by Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 12th chapter. You know, where Lord Krishna clearly says Nirguna Bhakti is extremely difficult because it is uh, formless. You see, you are supposed to visualize something which is formless. That is extremely difficult even for a jnani. So jnani comes down to the level of the bhaktas, the other devotee, and then what he does is he tries to explain through his behavior that through this saguna bhakti you can then rise to nirguna bhakti. When a jnani is for example, a jnani is chanting, he's chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, or he's going to a temple and he's bowing to the god there in the temple. It is not that he doesn't know how to do nirguna bhakti. This is an example he's setting so that the other bhaktas can follow that and follow him as an example. And then when they do that, that namaskaram to the Lord in the temple, they will also come to this nirguna bhakti at a later point of time. That is how you have to analyze why a jnani worships a saguna Ishvara.
To focus the mind and drop the mind is easier through saguna than to achieve
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone. Lakshmi, does it answer my question? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Actually, my question was like even Ramakrishna Deva was attached to Kali Mada. Like that, everyone, each Jamina Maharshi was to Arunagiri-nada. Like that, no, I was asking about that one particular deity or Saguna Brahma only they will be worshipping. No, that was my question, sir, actually.
Yes, that's a very good question, because you see what happens is it is that deity which has given that person a realization of his true nature.
Okay.
You know, that particular deity for Ramakrishna Paramahansa, it was Kali Devi. For Ramana Maharshi, it was that Arunagiri-nada. So for each one, there is always one deity which has blessed him. And he will continue, a jnani will continue to keep that particular saguna bhakti throughout his life, till the end of his life.
Okay, sir.
And it doesn't mean that he cannot do nirguna bhakti. You see, for us, it may seem that he is only involved in saguna bhakti, but his own mind is somewhere else. We can know his mind.
Okay.
Through this bhakti of the saguna Ishvara, he seeing that formlessness.
Okay.
That only his mind will know, not our mind.
Yes, no, actually, I had a doubt like that, because we are seeing like that. No, jnani of the past nearby centuries come across.
You are right. Your question is very pertinent, because we are the ajnanis who are seeing him, but we will never know how is his mind. You know.
Okay.
So that is why somebody asked this question to a jnani. He says, "Can you tell us how was Shankara's mind?" So the answer of the teacher guru was, "You become jnani and then you will know Shankaracharya. Only a jnani can know other jnani's mind."
Okay. I have heard this, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Ramesh is saying, "I think those realized will continue to see the omnipresent consciousness in Saguna form." Yes, you're right. Ramesh, you're right.
I've just written a very simple message to see that really it's very logical that, you know, the more we know something or someone, you fall in love with that, whatever it is, be it a subject, be it a person, be it whatever. So the more you know God, the more you know Jnanam, you just, I mean, I can just see it that it's just so natural to become a bhakta. Very natural.
That's
Very,
correct.
very natural. Yeah.
Whatever your mind is tuned to,
Yes.
you see, the
Tune to. That's tuning. Yes.
tuning of the mind is extremely important.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just
If
is very,
every day in the morning you get up and pray to Devi, or you pray to Lord Rama or Krishna or whatever, you keep a photo in front,
yeah.
and your mind will have that impression, you see. That vasana of Kali Devi and Ramakrishna Paramasa,
Yeah.
the vasana of Arunagiri to Ramana Maharishi is very powerful.
Yeah.
That is the vasana he has. So if you are a Shiva Bhakta, you will have the Shiva vasana in you. There's absolutely nothing wrong. It is, you see, it's like having an impression of Hanuman in my heart. You can have any of these forms. These are all stepping stones for that pure consciousness.
Even Shankaracharya, the greatest of Advaitin,
Yes.
the kind of devotional hymns he's written, just
Yes.
extraordinary. How can, a Gnani, I mean, he really is an answer to that question, that
Yes.
he was a total Gnani. And if you look at his hymns, you think, is a pure coming from a devotee's heart?
Yes,
Isn't it?
absolutely. I mean, you
Yeah.
see, Lalita Sahasranamam he has written. He has written
Yeah.
Vishnu Sahasranamam commentary. He has got so many beautiful mantras on.
This is incredible.
Ganesha Stotram, Ganesha Panjaratnam.
So many, so many. So
God,
these
yeah.
are all new things which we will discover in our own heart, and this will all come up. You see, these are all impressions which will come up.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much, and wish you all a very
Thank
happy New
you.
Year.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
and you too.
New Year, sir.
Shubhraatri.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm glad the coils go to Singapore.
That's correct.
Oh, of course, yeah, very much there, yeah.
Come and visit us in Singapore sometime.
Yes, right now there's only one Devi, Corona Devi. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corona is not going to leave us for this year also, it appears.
No,
Looks
no.
like it.
It'll all be fine. Don't worry. 2021 will all be fine.
Yes, it will be
Fantastic.
exactly.
Maybe we will be having a retreat in Singapore, you think? Yes, perhaps.
Probably we'll be used to live with it.
Perhaps that may be the right thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
we
Shubhraatri.
next
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
after the New Year, and
Secondly,
we will have this one more session, and 13th, like I said, we'll start the Dakshinamurti.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, Bauba, you were saying something?
this the 10th man, what do we really mean by telling us the 10th? The 10th man,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
counting and the what?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is actually the
Yeah, yeah. The story is,
anything behind it?
yeah. 10th man story means it's like that if I don't know my real nature as I am that pure consciousness, this is like the man who has lost. You see, you forget the 10th man story. You can even say, suppose you are having your specs on the top of your head and you are searching for that specs. So and somebody comes and your son comes in front of you and say, where are you searching? I'm searching the whole house for that specs. And where is that specs? The specs is on top of your head. You never realize it's there. And so this what it means is that Atma is always with you. Don't try to search outside. Always at the end of any inquiry, you say to yourself, I am that Atma.
So we are forgetful, that's all.
Yes, you are only forgetting your real nature as Atma.
Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and
Okay.
we'll see on the 6th next week, on next Wednesday. Good night.
Hari Om. Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good night. Sweet dreams. Oh, sorry. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Sorry. Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.